This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Perich, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Recording has started. Hello and welcome once again to Superconnectivity. I'm your host, Charlie, the Professor Esser, and with me as always is the man with the wisdom to launch 1,000 ships.
Phil, me, and Perich.
That's the one, so I keep on touching my face. We're not supposed to. Hey, Philip, welcome back to the wonderful world of Superconnectivity, where the world is crashing down around our heads. There will be no more comic books ever again. And a lot of tragedy is befalling all the people of the world. Also, we lost one of the greats of basketball, Curly Neal, from the Harlem Globetrotters, and of course from Scooby-Doo Meets the Harlem Globetrotters and the Super Globetrotters, and countless comic books about the Harlem Globetrotters in the 70s and 80s. It was a good time to be alive. Anyway, but now here we are in this end times dystopia that is COVID 2020.
Well, on the bright side, at least the environment's getting a break.
Yeah, relatively, you know. I don't think it's as good as people are like implying. You know,
yeah, but it can't hurt. But it can't hurt, you know.
No, it's not hurting. It's better that, you know, we're not driving as much.
Mm-hmm.
We're telecommuting, which is saving a lot of energy, not putting as much carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. All these things which are good, but they took away our comics, Philip.
I know.
Diamond.
How dare you, Diamond?
Well, you know, here's the thing that bothers me about Diamond's decision, and it's kind of this gray area about where, and this is the thing everyone has to deal with in this time of crisis, is the gray areas, because there are all these shutdown orders, all these lockdown orders, but there are certain carve-outs for certain businesses. Publishing is one of those businesses.
Yes.
The problem is that apparently there is some feeling that the resellers of published materials are not one of these businesses. Now, my comic book store was basically doing curbside pickup.
Yes.
So you had your pull, you could write in and say, pull these books for me. You would drive up, they would come out, they'd hand you the books, you'd drive away. So they found a workaround in this situation. Now, with Diamond essentially saying they're not going to deliver comic books for the foreseeable future, it puts everyone in a tough spot. And now, on some people's view of it is, well, you know, this is good for the comic book retailers because now they don't have to take in a bunch of stocks that they don't have to sell, or that they're not going to be able to sell. And, you know, I got into a bit of an argument with a guy online about this the other day because, well, for some comic book, because that's the thing, if you're a comic book store that relies mostly on walk-ins, then yeah, this is bad for you.
Yeah.
The situation not being able to open. If you're a comic book store that relies heavily on your pull lists, you know, then it's not as bad for you, you know? And it is that complex question as to what's best for comic book retailers. In the meantime, you know, with Diamond making this choice, they're kind of making the choice for everyone. Diamond saying they're not going to be doing these deliveries. And now the question comes to Marvel and DC and everyone else.
Yes.
Are they going to continue to make books that can't be distributed via hard copies? Interestingly enough, Alterna Comics, your friend of mine, is still going to be printing comics because, as I said, there is a carve-out for media printers. Mm-hmm. Because, as it turns out, in a crisis, you want printing presses to keep on running. And while they're printing newspapers, they might as well print comic books as well.
Well, and I mean, it would hurt. I would hurt all the brick and mortar businesses. But I mean, Marvel and DC and all of them, they can just do digital.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, they also want to maintain that relationship with the hard copy publishers because, as we have said, Marvel and DC, those are basically the farm teams for the movies now. Mm-hmm. Where basically they're going to be running out a bunch of great stories, coming up with brilliant ideas, and then years from now they're going to be taking, what was a great idea that those writers came up with, and then we're going to see it translated in some way into a movie. We're going to see more characters, more people, more things coming into the fold for the Marvel DC universe that originates in the comics. I
saw another theory online. I don't know how they would do it, but they were saying, that Marvel, DC, and the rest of them could like send digital codes to the retailers, and then the retailers could sell them to you at the regular price. And then once the physical books come in, they will just give you the physical books too.
I actually said that as well. That's actually my idea for it. Is that first off, DC doesn't have digital codes. Marvel is actually, because Marvel already has the digital codes. Yep. They can sell those to the various retailers. The retailers now just have to be very careful in how they sell those digital codes out, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, that would be the smartest thing for Marvel to do because, as I said, they already have the codes in stock. They already know what code goes to what book. So they can designate, okay, these are the codes that, Paradox Comics in North Arlington, New Jersey is going to get. And here's the codes that, the Fortress of Solitude in Newark, New Jersey is going to get. I know, my local comic book stores. And whatever store that Phil goes to, this would be the time for you to give it a shout out, what codes they're going to get.
Yeah, Infinity Comics, yes.
Yes, and
I mean, they could make the whole thing electronic. I mean, they could email the codes to the stores. The stores could email you once you pay, electronically or something. Mm-hmm. They could just email you the codes.
Exactly, and that would be a great way to handle it in this dark, dire time.
Yes.
And also would keep you from having to buy, because that's sort of this idea. Personally, I still plan on buying even if they don't have comic books, I'm going to buy. My $20 gift card to Paradox Comics each week, which is my normal comic book budget. And then when the books come in, I will just cash those in.
Or like I was saying, if you can go in the store or even send them a list, it's like buy some back issues.
Oh yeah, and if you can, and of course, most stores will also we'll set up a mailing thing. They will say these are what we have. I know Paradox is going to be putting stuff up on eBay, and all these stores are going to try to find ways to sell their stuff, sell what they can sell because they still need the money,
Yes.
We may have just passed the COVID-19 bill and there will be benefits for small businesses, but, as with everything, you can't always count on getting the tax credit. You can't always count on an actual small business getting the small business tax credits. There's a lot of, Disney's going to say, we're a small business. American Airlines, what? We're just a little puddle jumper.
Although, Lilith and I were talking about this last night. I was saying one of the advantages if they don't print, even if they just don't print anything for a while, not digital, not anything. I mean, look at all the delays we've been having on books lately, Marvel and DC. This would give them time to get a buffer going. I mean, get some 2-3 issues completed and all done before they sell another comic.
That would be the dream, Philip.
Yeah, that way you wouldn't have to be have late books for a while.
Well, again, like I said, that would be the dream.
Yes,
Philip.
yes. So, I mean, everyone works from home now. They all email their stuff and stuff.
I mean, and for what I think I don't know how many physical writers and artists actually go into the office bullpens.
Well,
I know the editors are there.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, I think a week or two ago, I know at least DC told everyone they'll start working from home. So.
Oh yeah. But I mean, in general, what I'm saying is, I think the writers and artists are already doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of these guys go out of their house that much, or have to go out of their house.
Well, I was going to say, in this day and age, I think some of them don't even live in the same city as the main office.
Well, yeah. Well, that's been for years. I mean, John Byrne has always lived up in Canada. He's not coming into this, disease-ridden, backwards hellscape. He knows what side of the bread his poutine's on. So, but that's we've had writers and artists that have been remote from the Business Central for years. So That's not new, and that's not news. It's good that they should have an option. And when everything goes back to normal someday, hopefully someday things will go back to normal, and hopefully we don't just, try to go back to normal too quickly and then have everything just get worse. That's always the risk.
Yes.
Flatten the curve, as they say. But anyway, as it stands, I think there are options that the comic book retailers can do, the comic book companies can do. But I think now a lot of people are planning on what to do once everything comes back to normal. Oh, okay. Tristan wants to show us his controller because he found out his Doom game came with stickers for his controller.
Oh.
So he has the Doom poster and stickers for his controller. So there we go. Tristan is very excited about the world he lives in. Although he really hates homeschooling. He wants to go back to school.
Yeah, so does Luca, yeah.
Yeah, well, I tell him I have to record him saying this because as soon as they start going back to school, he's going to be like, "Oh, I don't want to go to school."
Well, they like their friends and stuff,
Yeah, well, he does miss his friends. And then, one of the biggest problems is most of his other friends have gamer dads. So they all already have the play online stuff on their PS4s. But because he doesn't have a gamer dad, he doesn't have that.
Why do you have to be an intellectual dad?
Well, no, I don't like the talking on the games and the internet.
Why do you have to be a pop culture expert, Dad?
Any controller with more than one button is one button too many. That's what I have to say.
Back in my day, we had B and A. That is it.
Fancy B and A. No.
And Nintendo.
We had a stick and a red 2600, man. If you need more than 26 bits, you're just doing the devil's work. That's
I was in line for Pong, son.
Yes. Anyways. But yeah, I mean, finding what they're going to do in this situation is the big question that's facing comic book retailers right now, because they have to do something. They can't just say, well, I guess there's nothing to do. Yes. Although that may wind up what they have to do. And like I said, my biggest worry about what Diamond has decided is that in their making that decision, they're also putting all of their people out of work.
Yes.
So every truck driver that drives for Diamond, every picker and packer that works the warehouse for Diamond, they're all losing that livelihood. And that's not a problem if Diamond is taking care of them. From what I've heard about Diamond, I don't think that's the case.
Yes.
And that's sort of where things get a little more complex. But anyway, that is that. The other news that's going around right now, of course, is the suggestion that when it's all said and done, Marvel and DC should celebrate and perhaps arguably even use this downtime right now to put together a big Marvel DC crossover.
Yes.
And everybody has ideas of what they would do. I know we had some thoughts here. I think that's a perfect time to bring back the Beyonder.
Yep.
Have the Beyonder peep over into the next universe, and we can get a nice little pulling together. We could do Secret Wars, but with Marvel and DC characters. And this is what I think. Everyone always thinks, let's have Superman fight the Hulk. But, I'd rather see Dr. Doom and Lex Luthor team up.
Ooh.
I'd rather see how, when you mix these heroes and villains together from these mixed universes, how they align themselves in their normal fashion. So we don't get the heroes fighting the heroes or the villains fighting the villains. We just get heroes and villains sort of merging together or fighting together. Or this is a great time to bring back the Amalgamverse.
Yes.
Tell us the Secret Crisis, when the Monitor Beyond comes and does whatever it is he does. So, Or she does.
Oh, but I mean, no, I mean, you can even get some good battles, though. I mean, come on, Tony Stark versus Lex Luthor. Come on.
Oh yeah, and that would be, or along those same lines, Tony Stark and Lex Luthor team up.
Oh,
well, that's the thing.
What about a Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne team up?
Oh yeah. I mean, well, everyone wants to see that, but Bruce is just not in Tony Stark's league. Let's be honest. As they always say, I mean, Bruce may be a ninja, but there's no points for hard work. It's like it's about results, and Batman needs better armor. But yeah, I mean, the idea of Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark working together would be neat. Two geniuses, all that kind of stuff. But again, it's how people approach the world that they're in and what we're going to get next out of it. Like I said, I think that would be a great time. Like I said, what would be really interesting is the idea of Marvel and DC team up to save the Amalgamverse. That would be interesting, where we find out the Amalgamverse, which was always kind of rocky to start with. Perhaps you even get that folded universe into it too, with all the hero amalgams from the Marvel universe, from the half the life in the universe by simply having half of everybody having two people form into one person. I don't think that was the best idea.
But some of they said there's creators behind it. I mean, I know Gail Simone, they said, is one of the names behind, who's been calling for this. And like, I put up a few ideas and like it got liked by Tim Seeley over at DC and our friend Kelly Thompson. I mean, yes, I mean, there's creators who want this.
Oh yeah, well of course, because creators love to create.
Oh, yeah.
And the best part about comic books is that ancient and magical playground that you get to play in.
And you do crossover
because there's just so much.
And you do a crossover, you double the toy box too.
Exactly. So yeah, of course everybody wants to do that, and that's what's great about comics. Speaking of comic books, Philip, do you want to talk some comic books, or you want to talk some more movies and pop culture? I don't know what we're going to do on Capes later on tonight.
I know.
I don't want to burn up all the topics, but I think we're not going to get to talk a lot of comics on Capes and Lunatics tonight.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah. Throw out some comments.
Okay, so let's see here. One thing I really want to give a shout out to, a book I really loved. Can you guess what book I really loved this week, Philip? I'm going to bet you can't guess which book I really loved this week.
Was it Immortal Hulk?
No.
Ooh.
That was good, though.
Yes.
Immortal Hulk was really good. But what was great was Hellions,
An X-book. An X-book.
Oh, man. They had me at Nanny.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about, first off, I did not even know that Nanny was a mutant. And they gave me no background or origin on Nanny in this.
I don't know if they've ever really given an origin. The couple times I remember seeing Nanny, I don't remember any origin. It's just like
the last
time, children.
Yeah, the last time I remember Nanny was from Nanny's first appearance, which was in Avengers, as I recall, which was during that period when Reed and Sue were on the Avengers, and the Forgotten One took on the name Gilgamesh and makes himself the big bull armor.
Yeah, it was around Inferno. It was like around Avengers 300.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's when we first get Nanny. And I never even heard of Peter prior to this. We also have, apparently, Havoc's got some problems in his brain, which is, he gets like knocked crazy, and all of a sudden he gets talking with Mephisto word bubbles, and he like cuts off a guy's arms and disfigures someone else, and it gets horrible. Then you have these other characters that are brought in, one of whom I really love is well, as I said, we get our Hellions in this. We there's Wild Child. For those who don't recall Wild Child from the old, I think it was Gamma Flight. And he's like Wolverine, but not.
Yeah,
he's like a skinny saber
Wolverine. Yeah.
He's a scrawny
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have Scalp Hunter and a character by the name of Empath. And this is, again, I've never heard of Empath before, but that's the only one we actually really get a backstory on, where they actually explain who this guy is. His deal is that he is basically, he can manipulate everyone's emotions. So no matter what he does, everyone always gives him positive feedback. Everyone really likes to be around him because it makes him feel good. So no matter how cruel and evil he is, everyone rewards him. And so it's like, because his powers came, he's basically just Kilgrave from the Jessica Jones series, where as a child he was given the ability to control everyone, and now he just thinks everything's great, and he doesn't have an understanding that he is hurting people, and that's bad. So he's a sociopath. And then we get, like I said, we get Nanny and Peter, who is called the Orphan Maker and Nanny, and they're delightful. And of course, we just really get called out in all of this. And this is an interesting thing with because it's the anniversary of the Mutant Massacre, and so a bunch of Morlocks are going to go after Scalp Hunter.
Oh,
yeah, because he's but they make the statement like, even if you die, we'll all get born again. Which, of course, is like, okay, even if you kill him, he's just going to get born again, too.
I was going to say, the Marauders have been doing that for years. Sinister has been doing that with the Marauders since, like, the 80s, I think.
Well, and that is what the plotline is here, is that Sinister basically makes the point that, hey, look, all these poor unfortunate souls, they are we to say that their mutant powers are so bad? And there's something called the Pit of Exile in Krakoa. I don't know what it is, but it sounds awful.
I think it's where they dump Sabretooth, because I know they were like, oh, we're not going to kill you, Sabretooth, but we're not going to let you run wild and stuff. So they kind of just basically threw him in a pit and like left him to rot, I guess.
I think it's, from what I would gather, from what I imagine, it's basically the sunken place from Get Out, where you get just trapped in that darkness in your own mind.
Maybe, because I think they're not going to let him die, but I think it like kind of keeps him in like he's just like down there in a coma or something.
Yeah, basically, just who does that help? Anyway, they make Psylocke be sort of the babysitter for the team, and then it's Sinister and Psylocke and all these great, cool people who have to go on this adventure. And what they're going to do is they're going to go to the old Essex Orphanarium in Omaha, Nebraska, because apparently Sinister's like, yeah, I kind of let my whole clone farm go to seed, and so we just got to go there and clear it out. But of course, because they need to put them, they need to have because basically Sinister's idea is we need to put these people in a situation where they can work out all of their hostilities and aggressions, but not hurt anybody. So, well, we'll just have them massacre a bunch of clones. Oh, by the way, just out of curiosity, that whole bringing all the dead back to life through cloning, wasn't there a whole Spider-Man arc about why that was a bad idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just, everyone just all forgiving of Sinister in this. So anyway, but of course, when they go, who do you think is in the basement of Essex House, Philip? Who do you think Mr. Sinister's prized pupil, who has taken over everything and is being evil, would be?
I don't know. Who's this student?
Your favorite on mine. The person who in a prior life was,
of course,
Jean Grey. Good old Goblin Queen, Madeline Pryor. She's got all of the Marauders, strung up like Christmas hams. So, yeah, I really liked this book. I also might check out this X Factor book if it ever comes out, because it's supposed to come out in April, but, April doesn't exist anymore. So we'll have to see what happens with April. But, yeah, I really loved Hellions #1. That was a good book.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and to me, this is the thing. For me, it's always about what obscure character can you dig up from the history of Marvel Comics? Yeah. What weird thing that I remember from the 80s does some other writer remember, hey, here's a character no one cares about that I can write into my story? Yeah. That's like, yes, you guys get me.
Oh, but speaking of X-Men, did you read X-Men Fantastic Four?
Of course I did. There it is. X-Men Fantastic Four, number 3.
Yep.
One more issue to go. It's one of these situations where it's like, first off, the whole X-Men fighting the Fantastic Four, again, it just seems so out of character for everybody.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a little weird to start with that. And so yeah, I mean, I get what they're doing, but like, so for example, Wolverine just sort of claws the heck out of Human Torch. He knows Human Torch doesn't have healing factor, right?
I know. I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing, good sir? And this is also kind of weird in this thing, because, again, and I think this is just, a mistake by the artist, because clearly in this scene, Emma Frost is taking over Human Torch, but when you see the hand, it's clearly Mr. Fantastic's hand that's reaching out to Sue Storm's helmet.
Yeah.
Except it's also on fire, so I just think that artist was having a bad day with that panel. It was like, first he thought it was like supposed to be Reed Richards, or I wonder if maybe like in one version of the story it was like supposed to be Reed Richards, and then he had to like paint over it, because if you look here and the way the flame goes down, it kind of looks like Reed coming in, Yeah. But again, also the fact that the Human Torch's hand is like a flesh hand and not a glove hand is weird, but yeah. But anyway, so yada yada yada. Doom has come in and he's being all doomy.
Doom's gonna fix,
as he does.
Doom's gonna fix Franklin's powers, because that always works out well. Ask Sharon Ventura.
Yeah, and and of course, super science gone crazy. It's like, Reed is like, I don't think this is a good idea, and Beast's like, I don't know, it could work.
Ah.
I ever tell you about the time I injected myself with mutant growth hormone? That turned out fine, didn't it?
Didn't change me in the slightest.
A little bit of human experimentation never hurt anybody.
Ah.
Oh, boy. But, yeah, and then of course, we find out that the mutants are kind of being controlled by Doom, and the Doombot mutants, definitely don't have their wits about them. Yeah.
But I was going to say, I love Doom getting in Charles Xavier's face, because he's like, I recognize Krakoa as a nation. He's like, but just because some mutants are mutants doesn't make them better than all of humanity. He's like, just because you can protrude claws from your arm doesn't mean you're better than a guy who dedicates their life to diplomacy and the study of culture.
Yes. Well, good point, honestly.
Yep.
So, yeah, and that is, of course, and again, that's the whole thing. It's like, what is going on with these freaking mutants right now with this whole, and actually, to that extent, there is a line in Hellions about how the work will set you free.
Mm.
And do you know where the line, the work will set you free, is from? It's written on the gates of Auschwitz.
Oh.
Yes. I don't know if that was what the writer was going for, but it seems like such a... I'm trying to see if I can find that line, because it's something that Psylocke says to them, like you'll earn through hard work, you will earn your freedom kind of thing. Because, of course, all of the Hellions were in the circle, the circle of judgment, and where the quiet council meets and decides who gets to go to the sunken place.
Yeah, I still think there's something up with all these mutants dying and coming back.
Yeah. And, of course, now we got our Doom Sentinels.
Oh, yeah.
Popping out. Why are they so big?
Well, Sentinels are usually big, but...
I know, but you ever wonder why? Like, what was the... I guess maybe back in the day there was... Well, if it's not Stark technology, they needed the big, bulky devices to carry all the power generators, because, Tony Stark, he had the power amplifier, but he didn't let anyone else have a power amplifier.
And I guess if you're sending it after groups of mutants, they can't just tackle it to the ground or something. It's just...
Yeah, I suppose so. But yes. But anyway, so Doom unleashes his Doom Sentinels.
Always got to look like him, don't they?
Yeah, well, except they don't look like him. They look like his mask. It's
his
like
armor, yeah.
Dude, yeah, make a choice.
Branding, man. He was the king of branding in Marvel before anyone else.
Oh yeah. It's named the whole city after himself. Doomstadt. Okay. And then of course, yes, which is not about Iron Man. We learned today. Very disappointing to Tristan when he realized that the song Iron Man isn't about Iron Man.
What didn't disappoint me? I was surprised that.
Yeah.
Even because it was in the Iron Man movie and it fits him a bit.
Yeah, well, because, he was like sitting there, wait, everything they're saying about him doesn't make him sound like a good guy. It's like, well, it's not actually supposed to be about Iron Man. It's, Yeah, I believe it's about a guy in an iron lung, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
That's the actual.
I think.
And I think there was like a story where it's like supposed to be about a guy
coming back
who
from
committed atrocities in Vietnam
war,
or something. Yeah, because it's like there's a line in there about he had to kill those he saved, which is a reference to the idea we had to destroy the village to save the village, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So anyway, but Immortal Hulk.
Yes.
This was fun.
33, or issue 750, if you will.
Yes, because Zemnu is our friend. And so much of this is, with our big secret reveal at the end, which really shouldn't have been that secret of a reveal because we kind of got it in the last issue.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what that was about. It's like they just stuck a page in there. Where it's like,
and look at that 2-page spread in the beginning. They're kind of calling it out right there too, because
oh, really? What in that? Well, I guess the head.
Yeah,
the head has that leaderific head. Oops, sorry, I spoiled it.
No, that's okay.
But if you will recall, when the leader first returned, his power to control gamma irradiated beings was first used on Rick Jones.
Oh, yeah.
If I recall correctly. I believe that's correct, because, of course, that was when we had Rick Jones Hulk, who I was once for Halloween.
Oh, no.
You could tell it was Rick Jones Hulk because I was wearing brown pants.
Okay, Deadpool. I mean, I like that, Rick didn't just suddenly, develop different powers. It's, the leader's behind this somehow.
Oh, yeah. But, and I knew something was up just the way that, Worldbreaker Hulk is dealing with base Hulk, with childlike Hulk.
Yeah, because Worldbreaker's kind of like the custodian now in their head, basically.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that's the leader manipulating things.
Oh, maybe.
Because you can see he's like, when Worldbreaker starts smacking around Devil Hulk,
mm-hmm.
and other Hulk is like, no, all Hulks are Hulk.
Yes.
And, we don't hate any of us,
Mm-hmm.
He's actually being the good guy, and of course, who else is we also see who else is kind of locked away in this.
Joe, who has a big mustache in this, which I, of course, appreciate. But when I first see him, I was like, why is Stan Lee in amber? Because they very, very much designed him to look like Stan Lee there, which I appreciate. I really, really appreciate their decision to make Joe Fixit look like Stan Lee. So now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder, was this their natural evolution, or did has Leader been monkeying in Hulk's head and made it so, Joe couldn't assume his physical form?
I'm kind of thinking that may be the case,
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely see how this all plays out with Zemnu and whatnot, and of course, way too much on the body horror here.
Yes.
The Hulk ripping through Banner's body.
Although he's done that before.
Oh yeah, I know. They do make the it's not really Banner. It's just the head that Banner. It's like. None of this puts me at ease on the whole concept, man.
I know.
Yeah. So, but we do get to the whole thing.
And I was going to say, your favorite villain gets his though in the end.
Oh well, yeah, which I knew was going to happen. Again, very much tallied, hinted at last episode with Augur. Being like, I know you can't use your mind manipulation on me. I know how the sausage is made. And those lines come right back to him. He's like, of course, you're harder because you know how the sausage is made. And all that kind of stuff as he totally, rips him apart. And then, of course, we also see, of course, Rick Jones for the rescue of the Hulk. Yes, because Rick, good friend. But maybe not quite so much.
Oh, yeah, because what is it, like Rick who brings out Worldbreaker Hulk that breeds Zemnu, and then, Hulk's like, what happened to Hulk?
Yeah, well, exactly. And he also, jams him up with the Gamma, and that's, all these things, all this manipulation, because, as we see, and it is that kind of horrible thing there when he says, I'll probably leave you alive, and this is all, and you're seeing it from Rick saying it. It says, I'll probably leave you alive, Augur, though, if you can call that what you are living,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, ooh, creepy. But that's because it's been the leader the whole time.
And then that skin behind him, was he manipulating Hulk? Remember when Hulk was was the leader masquerading as Brian Banner?
Maybe. Huh. Yeah, I think that's Brian Banner's skin there. Because it has a mustache, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, and it kind of looks like he's in behind the green door there in that hellscape. That's the leader. That's the Hulk's greatest villain.
Does he have Gamma in him, or is he just green?
No, he's full of Gamma, and he's got like a big brain. Whereas the Hulk gets big muscles, he's got a big brain.
Yeah, because the next issue, which, who knows when we'll get it, it says a book-length look at the leader and his long journey behind the green door.
I'm sorry. Well, that's
it says next
notes.
issue. It says something about it's going to be about the leader and his journey behind the green door. So,
well, what I was just thinking about with the leader is, what my favorite story about the leader is when he's Red Leader and he sells his soul to Mephisto.
Ooh.
And there's a whole plot line at the end of that where, basically Mephisto finally outsmarts the leader, because at first it's the leader outsmarting Mephisto, but then Mephisto, of course, gets it at the end, which makes you wonder again if there's going to be this tie-in and this loop-de-loop to the whole thing. So that was fun.
What if all these Mephisto appearances we're getting? What if half of them are like the leader or something?
I mean, it could be. What do you want to show me, Tristan? You want to show me the Taskmaster ad because it looks like he has a lightsaber?
No, when I first saw that, I almost thought that was Darth Vader from here when it looked blurry.
You thought the Taskmaster was Darth Vader?
For a second.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that's part of the inspiration for his design. Oh, okay. Do you want to talk to anybody else, or do you want to go over to Picard? Because we also have Road to Empire, which was good. I have My Gods and Gears, and it came out on Wednesday from last week. We can also save stuff for next week, because we probably won't have comics next week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we can hold off on the comics, because, like you said, it might be a while. But no, I would like to hear your thoughts on Picard. How far did you get?
I got through episode 3, and I'm kind of like half watching them in the background while I'm doing this. And here's one of these things. It's like, and I've been asking this since the Borg first showed up. Mm-hmm. Where are the Bynars? Okay. There is an early TNG episode called 11000101.
Oh, is it those guys who are like...
Yeah, they're all tied to their homeworld's main computer, so they all have synced up brains.
Yes.
And it's like, I wonder, and that's this thing, because there's also this aspect in there where, I remember, because first off, this idea that artificial beings are outlawed, except outlawed to the Federation.
Yeah.
And, like genetic manipulation, ask Dr. Julian Bashir how outlawed that stuff really is,
I mean, Q and Tasha Yar, that's all we talk about season 1, Charlie.
I'm sorry, wait, okay, what did you say?
I said Q and Tasha Yar, that's pretty much all they talk about from season 1, doesn't it seem like anymore?
Yeah, well, no, but the Bynars were there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they were pretty much, they take over the Enterprise because they're and also as an interesting aspect about the Bynars, they saw Data as the ultimate, being. It's like, wow, you are just a full computer. Long before Lore talked to the Borg about getting rid of their human qualities, other beings saw, that positronic brain as that goal. So it makes me wonder on some level if we're going to eventually see the Binars in this. If they're going to go for that dig deep and say, oh, by the way, remember this sentient race of computer people that we introduced back in season 1 that you all forgot about, even when we came up with the Borg, which kind of seemed like they were kind of like people that would be like, oh, hi, Borg. Welcome. We'll assimilate you, actually, as a matter of fact. Come on in, Borg. We got such sets to show you. The great hive mind of the Binars. That would be so cool. Think about that as just a storyline. Like the Borg try to assimilate the Binars, and the Binars just assimilate the Borg.
I will tell you no, but there is a season 2 coming also. So,
well, I'm gonna say I don't know exactly what they're going on. I know there's something about I guess the last Borg cube got destroyed by some kind of internal thing, and I guess we find out whatever. I guess you're going to tell me that they're going to reveal that, because when the last thing I saw was the Romulans, who were the last Borg to be assimilated or the last Romulans to be assimilated by the Borg. And then that Borg cube imploded, and now they're all kind of nuts.
It's weird because the Borg kind of play a part in this, but it's the end of not really at the end of the season. It's more the Romulans and other synthetics. I mean, I won't go into too much, but it's just yeah.
Well, no,
I mean we get a big thing. I mean we get a big thing with we get a couple episodes on the Borg cube. I mean, you get the return of 7 of 9. You get Hugh, and there's one episode, I forget which one. It's coming up soon, I think, for you. Where 7 and 9 and Picard. I mean, we never really saw them on screen before, but they're kind of I don't want to say commiserate, but they're kind of it's wasn't it? Didn't it suck to be a Borg drone? Yeah.
Well, and of course, Picard was Locutus of Borg. He wasn't really a drone. He wasn't really one of you 7 of 9 people. It's oh yes, I remember being a Borg.
Yes, and
it was horrible.
And 7 and 9 is so good in this, and it's but or in some respects, it's man, she doesn't act like the old 7 and 9. But again, it's it's been 20 some years since she's been liberated from the collective. Yeah,
and Jerry Ryan's a good actress.
Oh yeah, she is.
Let the woman act.
Oh yeah,
thank you.
That's I was.
All get past whatever that nonsense was with her ex-husband.
I was listening to an interview with Jonathan Frakes, and he was because he directed some of these episodes, he was like, as good as Jerry Ryan was back in the day, he's I think she's so much more in her character now than she ever was in it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just that they well, I don't know if they just opened it up. They gave her more to do, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. It's doesn't have to deal with the whole Voyager crew. Although I did like that, and again, one of these things where they still clearly have EMHs. Mm-hmm. So again, it's they haven't gotten rid of artificial life forms. So I also wonder what the heck are they really talking about? And when we look at the because I did see when the artificial life forms destroyed Mars, those weren't artificial life forms. Those were drones. I mean, those were clearly not meant to be anything other than just souped up Alexas. They were Alexas with arms and legs,
Yeah.
They weren't sentient droids. So clearly, and again, it's one of these things where clearly whatever went wrong with them was somebody tampering with the mainframe. Mm-hmm. Nothing that's it's not the robots went crazy. It's clearly they have some kind of hive mind and someone was manipulating them for some reason. He's knocking over frying pans. So yeah, it's interesting, and again, I posted a couple things online. A lot of stuff seems to be outlawed in the Federation, and if you have an 86 and it's $23.99, is it 2386? Is it 2286? Why doesn't it have a star date? Or is 86 just because it's star date 497C22386? So it's an 86. That's how everyone knows that was a great vintage for Picard Brothers Fine Wineries. I did like that he basically says, I really never wanted to be here. This really was never a place that was home for me.
Yeah, but basically, he retired. He quits the Federation. It's well, where am I going to go?
Well, he could have gotten a freighter and sailed the 7 stars, you know?
I guess, although, I mean, I don't know if they mentioned it earlier, but I know, like, towards the end of the season here, they mentioned, like, Picard, the character, is, like, 94 years old.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll say this much. Yeah. So far in 3 episodes, not enough Ferengi. And I stand by that. You know, if there's one weakness I will say from these first 3 episodes, not enough Ferengi. What else do people care about in Star Trek except Ferengi? What is going on with the great conglomerate?
This Ferengi would be cool, and in season 2, I want an encounter with Picard and Q. Come on.
Oh,
reunite those old friends. Come on.
I mean, yeah, it'd be nice. It would be nice to see Picard. I mean, you know, I'd like to see a lot of people. I'd love to see Robert Picardo in here.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, they need to bring in the rest of the Next Generation cast, but yeah, bring in other people. Bring in, you know, Voyager and Deep Space Nine people. Yeah. Yeah,
well, that was the other thing I kind of noticed with this is like, oh, here's all of Picard's crew from before Star Trek Next Generation. He's got his old buddy from the Stargazer, and I don't know how he knows that other lady because I was only half watching it, the one who wanted the 86, you know.
Oh, so, I'm trying to remember. It might be the next episode or the one after. They do a flashback, like she was working with him when they were like, she was working with him when they were trying to evacuate the Romulans and stuff. They'll give you a flashback on that.
Yeah, and you know, and again, it's like, I don't understand why the Federation seems to really overreact a lot, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like, we can't have any genetic manipulation because there was once this guy named Noonien Singh, you know? Noonien Singh Khan, and we don't like that. It's like, but, you know, probably there's a lot of positives to it, you know? Maybe we shouldn't just throw out the entire baby with the bathwater.
Well, let's just say the Federation's been infiltrated, too, and leave it at that.
Yeah, well, you know, Federation's been infiltrated since those freaking worm-eating things took them over a couple seasons back. And then the freaking shapeshifters took them over. It's like, when hasn't the Federation been infiltrated by a billion different parasitic creatures? It's like, oh, we're infiltrated again? Yeah.
Well,
must be Tuesday.
I'm not even saying parasitic.
84732.
I'm not even saying parasitic creatures. I'm saying spies.
Well, yeah. I mean, duh, you know. I mean, obviously, you know, that's politics.
I mean, there's
Galactic Federation.
I mean, there's 2 races in the universe that kind of look similar. I mean, one I think kind of split off from the others.
The Vulcans so you have Romulans masquerading as Vulcans, or Vulcans masquerading as Romulans. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't remember if they've ever given that full origin story, but I always just assumed that, you know, spacefaring started on one of these 2 planets, and one group went to one planet, another group went to another planet. And there's probably like dozens of planets out there that have like Vulcans on it, you know, but they just completely different evolutionary tracks.
And now we have like British Romulans, because that guy on the cube, he's like British.
Sure, why not? You know, like, well, I mean, that's the weirdest thing about Star Trek is everyone is speaking with a universal translator. So why does anyone have an accent?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's like, although I guess that, and honestly, as Doctor Who says, lots of countries have a north. So, you know, or lots of planets have a north. So yeah, he's from North Romula. That's how you talk in North Romula.
It comes through the Mediterranean, Romulus. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to a Romulus, eh? What's the matter with you? You're so illogical, eh? No, I'm sorry. That's from the Mediterranean area of Vulcan.
Get out of here.
Hey, I'm not for you. You're so illogical. Anyway, yeah, but that's that, you know. Yeah. Oh, they did call out the Gorn Collective in this, which I thought was cool. I want me some Gorn in this. Gorn don't get enough play.
Yeah, they drop a few. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember a lot of them, but yeah, they'll
have we seen a Gorn since the original series?
I don't know.
You know, I mean, because we definitely get they always are loving to put in an Andorian in this show. I want some Gorns in this, man.
Oh, I know. They made the first season Picard free to stream and stuff. Did they make the Ready Room free too? Because that's like the after show with that Will Wheaton host.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look for it. And it's not free. It's all of CBS All Access. So
is it?
If it's on CBS All Access, I have all
Oh,
of it.
Yeah, it's on CBS All Access, yeah.
Yeah, so I have the entire CBS All Access for a month for free.
Oh, nice.
And yes, and
And if you have time,
which is smart.
If you have time, do Discovery. I don't know. Season 3 is supposed to start soon. I'm getting through season 2 now pretty good. I mean, when I saw the first episode, I think when they had it free on TV, I wasn't impressed, but I've been watching it. It gets a lot better.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, and also, I don't know if this is a new thing, but you can get CBS All Access with commercials, like Hulu.
Oh, yeah. It's cheaper, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind commercials.
Yeah.
What do I look like, Little Hellfire? I'm not Maz Mansour.
Maz Mansour? I know.
It's like my brain is more than happy to be for rent. To both gods and governments.
Yeah, because every episode, I think, is around, if you do the commercials, it's like around an hour, but then if you do it without, it's only like 40-something
What else have I got to do, Philip? What else have I got to do? And besides, without commercials, how would I know what feminine hygiene product is right for me? Sometimes I feel not so fresh, Philip.
Oh.
And there's your drop. Okay. Do you want to wrap this up? Because we got a whole other show to do?
Yes.
So, in the meantime, Philip, if people would like to reach out and touch you, how can they do so?
If you want to contact me, you can always email me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com. And on Twitter, I'm at nightwingpdp. And contact Capes and Lunatics, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. The voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And support sponsors, Tweaked Audio, Hunt the Killer, Pod Life the Book. And when you go on Amazon for anything, because you can even stream CBS All Access through Amazon Prime. But use the link for all your shopping for Southgate Media Group. Help support all our shows, because these are not free. All right.
And he does that all from memory, kids. You should see him here. He's closing his eyes. He's not reading that off the script.
That's right.
Yeah, he knows. He's a smart guy. And, of course, if you'd like to write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our Maz and Paz once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is coming back. You watch. It'll be here. Me and Maz going to talk about it on Enough Said at Charlie Esser, that's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing.
Thank you. Yes, you can have a Jell-O. Can I have a Jell-O? Can I have a Jell-O? Can I have a Jell-O? He knows I'm doing the podcast. He can see me.
So you can't say no.
Yeah. Oh, he's asking if I could have another one. So, yes. But he can see in the middle. Anyway, that's the show. I just did my outro, so there you go, Philip. Scroll up or scroll down or scroll to the left and to the right, because somewhere around here is episode 150 of Capes and Lunatics with special guest star Master Doom. Ah!
All hail Master Doom!
All hail Master Doom. Yep, he doesn't have any Doom Sentinels that we know of.